Hello and welcome back to the podcast of All This JAWN, recording live from the city of brotherly love. In a West Philly neighborhood, I'm your host, Mikey. Join us every week where we talk about the latest JAWNs of the week. For you Philadelphians out there, you know what I'm talking about. All This JAWN is a podcast all about society and pop culture. Every week, me and my guests take it to the limit, so don't expect anything else. Straight from the mouth of yours truly, all in the life of a gay Philadelphian. If you listened last week, we talked about spilling tea and growing up in gay society of Philadelphia. On this week's episode of All This JAWN, we talk 30-somethings. You know, life after your 20s. Is 30 a scary age or just another age bracket? And we ask ourselves, how is life in your 30s? And what are some inspirations along the way? As we sit down with one of my best friends, Lewis, and welcome him into the bracket of what we call the Dirty 30s. So let's get started and welcome Lewis to All This JAWN. Pity Pat, bitch, how the hell are you doing?
Hello, girl. What's up? Beep bop, bitch.
What is going on? How's life? What's going on?
Well, you know, I'm gay and blessed, but nothing really. Just really trying to just stay busy with everything going on and like COVID and all that. Just trying to still stay sane, still trying to lift and train and all that, but you know, just trying to just focus on me right now.
I know, I feel like everyone who I've had on the show recently has been pretty much saying the same thing as far as like what's going on with COVID and how we are, you know, interacting with each other and all these house projects and just trying to stay sane with everything going on in the world right now. So I get it, it's crazy.
It sure is.
So obviously we're neighbors, so I'm sure we don't really have a lot to talk about because we're always with each other.
That is the truth.
And finally now that I feel like, even though summer's canceled, I feel like we have this green light to like do things. But still, it still feels a little indifferent because I feel like with me and you, I feel like we would have been probably to like 20 beach trips already.
Oh my God, definitely. We would have been at Asbury Park down in, I wasn't going to say Ocean City, but you have to bring your own liquor there. But, you know, Sea Isle City, don't really go to Atlantic City that much. But I hear that you can now walk on the boardwalk and, like, have an open container and stuff, so.
Well, something else needs to come to that city because, girl, it's dying. I haven't been there since I was a kid. But anyway, yes, everyone I talk to is literally the same thing. And it's, you know, it's the new normal and this is what it is. So why don't we talk about a little bit about how we met? I'll let you go first, and then I kind of just chime in.
Okay. Well, actually a really good story. So this was around kickball season or getting close to it. Talking about Stonewall kickball, all of the gays know Stonewall, but, our captain, who was also my friend, who is also on the show, Derek, he is like, hey, I have this friend that is going to play kickball. They're going to move up here, blah, blah, blah. Made you like this huge suit, like this huge superstar, like, yo, he's freaking great, blah, 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 blah. I was like, oh, great, I can't wait to like meet him. And then I meet you, and I'm like, I like him, but he is a sassy bitch. And then
I feel like everyone says that about myself, and I'm gonna start yelling at people.
No. But honey had a wicked ass arm, could throw a pitch like no one else can. But no, yeah, like that. There's it, and like with like, you know, kickball and all that, and hanging out and doing all of our team group outings, we just really created a bond and all that stuff.
Right.
And now we're neighbors.
Right. I'll never forget it. It was like, I came up one weekend. I think it was a weekend that you weren't here because I came up and Derek was like, oh, Lewis can't come out tonight, but yada, yada. And I was like, well, who's Lewis? And he's like, well, I didn't tell you this yet, but you played Stonewall in DC, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, you were a captain down there, right? And I was like, yeah. He's like, so you're coming back when? And I was like, August. He's like, perfect. So you're going to join my team and you're going to meet Lewis. And it's so funny because he's like, I'm so excited for you guys to move up here because Lewis and Fredo are like the power couple. You and Ken are a power couple. I think you guys are going to get along great. And We have. Like, I feel like I've known you and Fredo for, like, ever now, and it's only been, like, 3 years.
Oh, definitely.
And we've
definitely.
already
I feel
shared
the
so
same
much
thing.
already.
I definitely. Best part is was able to get you to go to PlayStation and
Right.
the whole gaming and online and all that. And
I know, I
having
feel like I was never really, like, a gamer. I had, like, certain systems, and I would get it, and then I would play for it, and then it would just collect dust. Mm-hmm. But now I feel like I'm a gamer.
It's all about that chichi mama.
Well, it's so funny because I feel like when you started playing it, I was like, oh my god, you like horror movies, and so do I, and here we are playing Chi-Chi Mama. And for everyone out there who doesn't know what Chi-Chi Mama is, it's Friday the 13th, the PlayStation game, and it's amazing. And that's how I got into it, and I feel like that was definitely a bonding moment for me and you.
Definitely. This here is when the game was good, when it first came out, before they got sued and had to shut everything down.
Right.
But this is when it was just at its prime.
Right. But I feel like, you know, when I lived in Brewery Town, like, we would do dinner nights together, like, the 4 of us. And then, you know, things happened with my job and my apartment. And I was like, I need to get the fuck out of here. And that's when I turned to Fredo and I was like, hey, is there anything over in West Philly? And now we're neighbors.
I know.
And I feel like we've been, like I said, like, we've been friends for, like, 3 years. I literally consider you, like, my best friend. And I feel like we've, even though it's been 3 years, like, I feel like
it's
been
longer.
and done so much already. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. And it's like dinners every night, breakfasts every weekend,
brunch
here, there, and everywhere. It's great.
Coming to a couple of spinning classes, a couple.
Right, couple.
Someone doesn't like to wake up early and sweat on the bike.
No, I don't. Sundays are made for brunch and sleeping in. Honey, I don't need to be on a bike because my legs are for days. So I'm good. But yeah, no, I think it's great. And we've been through so much in the past 3 years. So Lewis, obviously you're a personal trainer. What are some ways that either we can follow you right now or we can get inspired, since we are inside 24/7? What are some quick things or quick tidbits that you can give us with working out at home, and how can we follow you?
So, just a couple of quick tidbits to do at home is like, not many people realize that they don't need heavy weights. You really don't need weights. Right now, we just have to realize that gyms are closed. Well, they are here still. And just doing simple movements by sitting down into a chair and getting back up, a simple squat, or trying to do a push-up. If you can't, go up to a wall and do a couple of wall push-ups. Go out walking, go out biking, be active and get outside. Just make sure you have a mask on. But what I think the best social distancing exercise is biking.
Well, the funniest thing is, it's so funny that you brought up biking because I know you love to bike. And in recent events, I literally got a bike. And I feel like the weather's been off and on. And I feel like with everything going on with work, I haven't been, like, out as much. But I really need to, like, get in the habit because I really want to start, like, after my birthday. Because, again, I haven't been able to go to the gym. And when it comes down to, like, exercising at home, I'm lazy as hell. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I think I want to get out on my bike more, and I definitely want to go ride more, and I feel like I want to really put Kelly Drive and West Kelly Drive to work, because that's my goal from now until the beginning of fall.
Oh no, definitely. Like, freaking, I dropped off my bike at Keswick here in West Philly.
Shout out Keswick.
What? They did a dope ass tune up. The bike runs like brand new. The only thing was, I waited 2.5 weeks. That's how many people are getting their bikes fixed and getting these tune-ups and buying bikes, because everyone right now is trying to stay active and get outside and all that stuff.
Well, I feel like since you've been waiting, you've been very active, like traveling here and there and everywhere. I feel like you're in Jersey every other week.
Oh my God, there's the honest truth. So that is the nicest thing from being able to work from home, with with the gyms being closed, I honestly took I took a month off, thinking that, you know what, everything's gonna pop back open, and then a month goes by, and then they're like, oh, we're gonna be in this for another month, and I'm like, okay, I need to do something here.
Right. You just don't know what to do, so it's like, what the hell are you going to do?
Exactly. So I just reached out to couple of clients from the gym and slowly started building my own online personal training business now.
So how can we get in contact with Lewis, and how can we follow you, whether it be on social media or watch some videos or tidbits or anything like that?
So my biggest platform that I use the most is Instagram. I'm not really that big in Facebook, just to toss like photos and stuff, but I really use Instagram. Now, note, my Instagram name is a very old name. I made it when Instagram first came out. So, the Instagram name to follow is JerseyBoy69.
And is there any kind of different spelling about it, or is it just how you spell it?
It's absolutely different.
Well, can we get a spelling, Lewis?
So, it's going to be JERZYBOY, and then the number 69.
Of course it is.
The original. No, but I seriously need to sometime soon change that name.
Well, I'm sure you'll get there one day. But yes. So definitely check out Lewis. He's definitely a sensation. Kudos to you. I'm proud of you for starting where you were when I first met you to the point of where you are now. So
thanks, babe.
It's great. So we're going to take a quick break, and then when we come back, we are physically going to jump into our main topic of the week, which is 30-somethings. So we will be right back. So we are back with All This JAWN podcast, coming to you live from West Philly. I have my guest on tonight, Lewis, who's one of my best friends. And if you're just tuning in, Lewis was just describing what he does. Lewis is a personal trainer in the Philadelphia area. We've known each other for 3 years. We share all these different fun things together, like gaming. We do Stonewall Sports. And we both live in West Philly. So we're going to dig into our main topic, which is 30-somethings. And the reason we're talking 30-somethings is because basically the weekend that we're in, Lewis is finally turning the big 3. So we're going to sit here and we're going to pair 20-somethings to 30-somethings. We're going to go over our 21st birthdays, and if we physically remember them, what our scary age is, and what we're looking forward to in our 30s, and what our biggest inspirations are in life. So why don't we just dig right in? Lewis, who were you in your 20s?
Wow. So me in my 20s, so definitely crazy.
Take me back.
Oh, I'm going to take you way back. Definitely crazy.
Okay.
Definitely unpredictable. And just living my best life, or what I thought was my best life. Around that time. So when I was a teenager, I was a goody two shoes until about 18.
Okay.
And then it was just like, from then on, it was like I came out, I started to go out, and then as soon as I turned 21, I was like, this is going to be great. I'm going to go out every single night, blah, 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 blah. Just didn't really have a really good wasn't really in a really good frame of mind of just being so unpredictable, if
Well,
that makes
like,
sense.
No, it totally makes sense. And I feel like, like I was sort of the same way in my teenage years. Like when I was 16, I was like, you know what? I know what I want my life to be. I moved out when I was 16 out of high school. Like that summer, I was like, bye, peace, I'm out. So I literally had my first apartment at the age of like 17, 18. And I looked forward to, 1, being 18, 2, being 21, because obviously we were allowed to drink, but I had a fake ID when I was 17, so I was probably drinking at the age of...
Fake ID, though.
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, for me, like, my 20s were a mess. It was my heydays. It was, I don't give a fuck, this is what I'm doing.
Oh, absolutely. When in 1 year, out the other, would be at the bars, and at the time we called them the old queens.
Right.
Would tell us, oh, you gotta act like this and that, blah blah blah. Kind of try to show us the ropes, and you know us.
Did you have like someone who was like your gay lookup, who that like you followed in their footsteps when you came out, or no?
So I did very briefly.
Okay.
But no, yeah, like not so much. Actually, I'm lying here. Now that I'm thinking about it, yeah. And if they are listening, JAWN and Yaya.
Okay.
I used to hang out with them when I was a teenager. Like I wasn't even 21 yet. And
yeah,
like,
I feel like. How old were they, if you don't mind me asking?
Oh, they were definitely 21 and older, and I remember going to my very first drag show with them. They snuck me in, I forget where, someplace in freaking Philly.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, they kind of just took me under their wing, and like I'm super grateful for it.
Same thing for me. Like it's so weird. I always like wind up meeting a crew that was either older than me or a couple years older than me, or have already experienced coming out, or so they're like, when I went to the neighborhood for the first time ever, like we used to go on Wednesday nights because that was when underage night was at Woody's, and I was out until like, Jesus Christ. My mom would always say like, your curfew's 1 o'clock to like be in this house at 1 o'clock, but I never listened. I was always out until like 3 o'clock in the morning.
Remember going to senior year, going to homeroom after going out from a college night.
Well, the funniest thing for me was, so we had homeroom. I had homeroom like first period, but I was wide awake during the day. But like right after lunch, I would get the itis, and by 9th period, I was like, I'm falling asleep. And it was always really like religion class or science that I had to like pay attention to, and I'm like, 1, this is boring already. 2, I'm falling asleep. 3, I want to be in bed. 4, I need to stop going out so late. Yeah, it was a mess. But for me, like, being gay and being young and being in Philly and growing up in the city, like, my parents were really lenient. I really didn't have a lot of strict rules, but I was smart about things that people I met, things I've done, things like that. So 20s were definitely a fun time. And, Kennan's always asking me, like, oh, sometimes I feel like you want to go back and like do things all over again. I'm like, there's so many great memories of my 20, but
oh, absolutely.
Of course I would like love to live it all over again, but I would never go back and change any of it because it was so amazing, so amazing.
No, and like what I have realized about our 20s is like our 20s, it's kind of like starting back at middle school, going through high school, getting through college, like that like 10-year gap. And it's like you truly learn a lot about yourself and other people. You meet people, you learn from them, like friendships come, go, but like it's like learning experience.
No, I definitely get
that
you.
Makes sense.
It totally makes sense. I think for me, I started out young. So like from 16 to like 23-ish was like
You were
Michael's heydays. Like, I was that bitch. And
you were out and about hoeing at 16.
Hoeing at 16, out and about, like coming, walking down the parkway during the weekends at like 3 a.m., coming from the club. Like, that was me. But it was such a good time. Like, such a good time. But I feel like around, like, you know, after 21 and falling out of a relationship for 4 years, I was like, you know, I always was the person who was like, I must have a boyfriend. 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 And, like, you know, on a whole different scale and a different conversation, like, we'll get into that boyfriend topic later, but I always wanted a boyfriend in my 20s. And I totally get it because at the age of, like, 23, 24, I'm like, well, where do I want my life to be after 25?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then, you know, I met Kenan, and then I kind of, like, wised up a little bit. I wasn't, like, a bitch anymore, even though I have my moments. Mm-hmm. But I totally get it. And then, yeah. So everyone, or maybe not, remembers their 21st birthday. For me, I don't remember my 21st birthday. I'll describe my 21st birthday, but, like, after a certain point, I was like, the weekend was gone and it was Monday, and I was like, where did my birthday go? So I remember back then, the old Taboo used to be something else. I totally forget the name.
Back in the 70s, right?
I hate you. It was called something. Sales. It was called Sales. The old Taboo.
Sales. So like Taboo, old Taboo, but
old
not...
Taboo used to be called Sales. I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
Yes. So I knew the cook there because she lived in Fairmount, and everyone knows everyone in Fairmount. But I used to throw parties there with my ex-boyfriend, and that's how I met her.
Okay.
And I was like, oh my God, can I have a party here? And they're like, of course. You can have your own dinner party. We'll open it, but you have to have it after like 9 o'clock. Because that's when they closed the upstairs, and then it was just a bar downstairs. Okay. Because they used to rent the upstairs room as like an event space. Mm-hmm. And then on Saturdays and Sundays it was open, but Friday nights they kept it downstairs only. So I had a dinner party, and I don't know if you remember this club or ever went to this club, but do you remember Shampoo?
Wasn't old enough, but remember the Q102 commercials about the foam party. Yes,
so
definitely.
My birthday landed on a Saturday. Yes, it was a foam... No, I just lied to you. It was a Friday night. It was First Fridays. So obviously my birthday is July 1st, so it was First Fridays. So lit. I would only go on First Fridays because it was lit. 2, I knew everyone. 3, it was a foam night. Because it was in summertime. So I remember going, and Shampoo was very large. Like, I think it was actually bigger than Voyeur. Wow. So, because they had, like, all these rooms and there was, like, 3, or maybe it was just 2 levels, but it was just big. Like, it was big inside. And then they had a whole outdoor with the tent where the foam party was, and then they had a hot tub and a bar.
Wait, there was foam?
There was a foam party, a hot tub, and a bar.
That just sounds like bacteria just brewing.
Oh, it was brewing. That hot tub was nasty. But there was plenty of nights I was in it. So I remember going to dinner. All my friends were there. They went to there because I obviously I helped close down the restaurant to help. That's how I got it for free. So we get to Shampoo with all my friends, and I'm probably a little bit shot in the ass at this point. And we get there, go out to the foam room, changed in my bathing suit and a tank top, and it was like my 21st birthday. So there was like 30 of my friends there, plus everyone at the restaurant. And there was literally, Lewis, I shit you not, 21 shots lined up at the bar for me to take. And my friends were like,
Was it Tito's?
I didn't even know what Tito's was back then. I'm sure it was house vodka, house rum, like...
Casters.
Nasty. So, but the rule was that I had to take all 21 shots in like 10 minutes, bam.
Oh my God.
Lewis, I don't remember what happened after that, so yeah, that was my 21st birthday.
No, yeah, I would remember.
I'm sure it was plenty of foam, plenty of water, plenty more drinks.
Shit.
Yeah. But that was my 21st birthday. What about yours?
Well, my actual birthday, I actually had to work on that day, which actually wasn't bad. But then the very next day was Saturday night. So, of course, at this time, I was living in Jersey at my parents' house.
And you always grew up in Jersey, right, Louis?
For the most part, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, I definitely called Jersey my second home.
Okay.
I would move back to Jersey, but those goddamn property taxes, I ain't freaking paying that.
Yeah, no, you can have that.
No. But, no, so, for folk who know about the Paco speed line, that there was my absolute best friend to get in and out of the city because I lived 2 towns over from Lindenwold. So just had a couple of friends, and I convinced my younger brother to also come. So that was his very first gay club experience, and me and my friends being crazy.
And what was it? What game
and
was
all
it?
that stuff. This was eye candy. Yeah.
I'm so old. Go ahead.
Yeah. This was eye candy. But then just the drinks just started flowing, and that was it. I just remember waking up the next morning. I had my own room in the basement, and I had my own bathroom. I wake up and my body's halfway in the tub. There's just vomit all in the fucking tub, and I just passed out like that. I don't know.
It sounds like
how.
a good night.
But no, that there was my 21st. And like the craziest is how like people make it seem like freaking fireworks are gonna go off, like panties are gonna fucking drop. And it's just another day where now you can just legally drink.
Legally drink, right. Like,
you know what I mean? Like now you can go and like pay for a drink.
Right. And in Philly clubs, for all my out city listeners of not in PA, in Philly, you have to wait in certain lines and certain doors to get you into certain spots if it's not underage, which I always hate it. So I felt like, oh my God.
Do you remember the back door of eye candy?
So
originally 12th Fair Command.
Yes.
Remember 12th
So
Fair?
I used to have to go through the back.
Yeah.
At 12th Air Command.
Uh-huh.
Before Woody's got revamped and renovated, there were 2 doors. So do you remember the door that leads into like what is that, Glow Bar now?
Yeah.
Before you get to Glow Bar, that hallway you walk through, like past the coat check.
Okay,
the steps that go up.
Yeah.
So there was a line there that led you up the steps when you're underage, and then the door that we all go in right now was the main door.
Yeah.
But yes.
I remember that. No, freaking, oh my God. That club was my first gay club experience when I was 18. My cousin went out with me. I just said, we going out. I'm old enough, we're going out, blah, blah, blah. So I convinced my parents to like let me go because, you know, my freaking parents were strict
I
as
have
shit.
a question. So when did you come out, Louis? Like,
so, I feel so old. I gotta sit back and think. This was going from the age of 16 into 17. So this was the middle of my junior year of high school.
So the funniest thing is, to rewind a little bit, Derek is a common friend of ours, and Derek has been your friend probably the same amount of time that Derek's been my friend, and we've never met.
And we never met.
And, you know,
Not even on, like, Facebook. Like,
No.
I wonder who this bitch is. Like, none of that.
And we've been friends with the same kind of people for a long time. And the funniest thing is, I never met you.
I know.
Take it, I traveled everywhere in my 20s.
Traveling gypsy.
Yes. But even my days coming back to Philly, like, I didn't really hang out with Derek that much. Like, I didn't really consider Derek a friend back then, but now we're so close, and Derek is literally one of my besties.
She was a lot back then. Let's be honest.
I mean, we
sorry,
all were.
babe, but you were a lot.
We
girl.
were all a lot.
With those Tims.
Okay.
Woo!
Oh, don't throw shade. However, yeah, like, I'm surprised we never ran into each other or anything like that. It's so weird. But I'm sure we've passed in passing. But yes, 21st birthday. Good times. So let's move on. What are some of the things that you were proud of or feel accomplished about that happened in your 20s? Like, what are some monumental things that happened in your 20s? Like early, mid, and late.
Early, mid, and late. Wow. So the craziest thing is like the biggest one that happened in my early 20s, like right after my 21st birthday, 6 months in, I'm at a college party at Rowan, and I meet my husband now,
Right.
Off of Grindr, and we were dating or talking for 2 months, and then we made it official, and then a few months later we moved in, and we've been together ever since then. And I don't know, it is crazy because I never was that crazy. But we were crazy together in our 20s because we were both close to the same age. I want to say my mid-20s. Sorry, y'all. That's West Philly's finest, girl.
Yes, welcome to West Philly.
Beat bop, girl.
We're on the main strip here.
So my mid-20s, I have to say when I got laid off from a amusement park, that there was definitely a life-changing moment because I thought that there's what I was going to do the rest of my life. So I had to figure out, okay, Lou, what is your plan B? And then started doing a plan B, thinking I know I wanted to do. And then in my late 30s, but not late 30s, my late 20s, besides getting married, I have to say I finally feel like I figured out what I want to do, and now it's just time to just lay that groundwork for my 30s now.
And you hit such a mile marker right there because I feel like that's your 20-somethings versus your 30-somethings because your life is so much different. Like, you think on so many different levels now. Like, I feel like your 20s are for the good times. Take it. You always should have a good time. But your 30s, definitely. You get so much more wiser and your wisdom, and you start thinking more and what your next plan are for the next 10 years. But
we are those old queens that hang around the piano bar at Tavern, girl.
Yes, of course. But it was so funny, back those days, I'm like, I can't hang out with these old queens.
I know, right?
And now
oh my God.
We are those old queens, and when we go to the bar, everyone's like, who are these old bitches?
I just want to say sorry to all of the people who were in their late 20s that came up to me when I was 20, 22, trying to say hi. And me just brushing you off because you told me how old you were. And I was like, 28? That's old.
Stay away. Hilarious. Yes. So for me... Oh, Jesus. I don't even remember my 20s, to be honest with you. For me, I would say in my early 20s, I traveled a lot. So I feel like that I never wanted to be that kid in Fairmount growing up. Like, I'm going to stay in this neighborhood. I'm going to go to the high school that everyone goes to. I'm going to raise my kids here. And then when I get older enough, I'm going to move to Jersey. That was not what I wanted to do. So for me, I traveled a lot in my early 20s. To be honest, all my 20s. I feel like my mid-20s is, when I knew that I wanted to settle down and I needed to, let loose of, being selfish. I needed to compromise on certain things. I wanted to be with someone who wanted to be with me. I feel like that's when I met Kenan. And now, my late 20s, it's just life lessons building me up for,
Oh, my God, absolutely.
Yeah.
So many stupid mistakes that I wish that I can take back, like petty ones, like you look back on and you're like, I could have handled that so much differently. But...
Right. Yeah, I get it. It's hard.
You learn from it.
Right. So now, what do you think your 30s are going to bring for the next 10 years, Lewis?
Well...
What are you looking forward to?
Well, the biggest thing I'm looking forward to is getting another Trump check if we have to stay in quarantine for any much longer. But... That there's a really good question. I really don't know, but I feel like I do know. I have a plan on how, I just really want to focus on growing my own line and just planning for it and taking it day by day. And just really try not to sweat the like small stuff anymore.
Right. No, I was just having a conversation with Andrea about this, and life is too goddamn short. Like,
yes.
I'm just so over the bullshit. For everyone out there, I'm turning 36 in 2 weeks, so I'm in my 30s. I'm an old bitch.
4th of July weekend.
Okay,
What?
listen. But I just don't care anymore. Like, I
wouldn't say so much not care. Your patience now is slimming, because I also feel the same way that my patience are just slimming.
Like, I'm always there for my friends. I wear my heart on my sleeve, but my motto is, if you don't like it, too fucking bad.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I paved the way, and I'm here. So I ain't going nowhere. But yeah. So.
All those Disney villains now, all the female ones, all make sense why they were always so bitter and so petty.
I can see myself in every single one of them.
Yes.
Yeah. And they were a lot older than 30. I love it. Yeah, no, I totally get it. And then, my late 20s, I knew I was turning 30, and I knew what I wanted, and I knew what I wanted out of life, and what the next 10 years were bringing. So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So now that you're married, obviously you just got married last year, which was an amazing wedding. Now that you're married, where do you think your life in your 30s is going to go with you and Fredo?
Wow. So, definitely planning on buying a house very, very soon. Maybe within a year or 2 years. Just basically growing. Like, if you think about it, I have been with this man for almost a decade now.
I know.
It is like weird. Like, it's like you like live and breathe through them and for them. Yeah. Like, it's like when they aren't there, like, it's like piece.
It's weird. It's a
it is. So like, it's like every single thing that I do, I always try to keep in mind, like, whatever I'm doing isn't just for me. It's like us.
Right.
And I need to stop saying like so goddamn much.
I say it all the time. Like and on is my favorite two words. No, I get it. Like, me and Kenan have been together for 12 years. I don't believe I'm saying that. And we've been married for 3. And I feel like...
That's a long time.
It's crazy.
Yes.
Like, I remember when we first met. It was like yesterday. I feel like I got married yesterday. But marriage is so different, and I know up to the point of your wedding day, I was like, it's gonna feel so different after you get married and you come back, and it's like, shit, I'm married.
Yeah.
So did you feel that, like, when you were up there?
So, I have to say, I felt that the day after the wedding, like, once people started to leave and all that, and it was just me and him time, like, I don't know, it was just, I want to say...
It's a change.
I want to say we were at dinner or at the pool, and I just looked at him, and I'm like, wow, like, this is the person that I'm, like, truly going to spend the rest of my life with. And just like I said, whenever I think of us as, like, a unit, and not just me.
Right, no, I get it.
And I think that there's the biggest part that really changes from a relationship to being married, because now that's your freaking team partner.
You literally signed your life away.
Yeah.
But it's great. I love it.
Can you walk the dog? I'm tired, please.
Yes, I love that we're both married. I love that our husbands get along.
Oh my God, same.
I love it.
Same.
I love it. And it's so funny because I know we talked about this before, but I feel like me and you have so many similarities together, and then Kenan and Fredo do. But then, like...
Those queens cackle and cackle.
But then me and Fredo see eye to eye on a lot of things.
Oh, no, yeah.
Yeah, it's crazy.
No, yeah. I definitely have to say I'm more of, like, the chill, laid back type of person. But whenever I want to speak my mind, I'll, like...
Right. Like, Ken is very chill and laid back, and I think that's where he vibes with you. And, like, me and you just cackalack all the goddamn time. And I think it drives him crazy, but that's what makes us. But, yeah. So, yeah. What is your scary age, Lois?
So, well...
And why?
My scary age was 30 about 9 years ago. But now, with, like, everything, I'm 30 or close to it now. It's I have to say the big 5-0. Like,
Really?
Oh yeah.
So
really.
the funniest thing is I'm the big 4-0. That is my
Okay.
scary age. I don't know why. I'm like, wow. I'm in my late 30s, like starting July 1.
That's why,
And I think
because
that's why I'm
it's
scared.
like
I'm petrified. Yeah.
it is getting close to it. No, like no, because like, do you remember being in your 20s and being able to randomly go out and get drunk and trash, go home, okay, sleep for maybe 3 hours, 4, go into work. At this time, I was a lifeguard. Go out drunk, come home, nap, go out to work and be out in the sun in like the freaking summertime. As soon as I started to get closer to my 30s, I'm like, wow, like I can't bounce back.
No.
I used like
No.
running now. I really can't run because in my mind I'm like, oh, I can run this much because I think I'm this guy in his 20s, and I'm like, yo, like you're coming to your 30s now, so like things are really slowing down. But
Get ready for that metabolism, bro.
so far it is going good.
Well,
So far it is going good.
So now that we're in this weekend, what are you looking forward to in the Poconos now that we're here?
So I have to say definitely is going to be being in the same house with all of my close friends. Like the last time that everyone who is going to be at the house from the Poconos, the last time we were in the same room was at my wedding.
Right.
And it is just nice to get away, hang out with friends and all that. Like, I don't want any like crazy big party. I just want to chill out, have a good old time with my boys and all that. But I have to say the biggest thing that I'm most stoked about is I don't know what the hell's really going on. I just know that we are going to this house, and I have a feeling that y'all got some tricks up your sleeve and all that. So I'm just going to enjoy the ride of the end of my 20s.
Well, you probably won't remember your 30th birthday because we're going to have a blast.
Oh, so much champagne.
Yes, so much drinks. And a hot tub yet again.
Uh-huh.
So really quickly, who is or what is your biggest inspiration in life?
You with these good questions. Very good questions. Biggest inspiration. Actually, I'm going to get real here. So, I had a teacher named, come on, Lou, remember her name. It was Mrs. Hall. She was my teacher for 4th grade, for 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th grade. I was a hyperactive kid, special needs and all that stuff. And, the teachers didn't know what the fuck to do with kids like that. So we got put into special classrooms. Mm-hmm. So I met this teacher that kind of just saw something in me. And she turned out to be one of the few teachers that really helped me get through school, while other teachers would be like, you wouldn't make out to anything and all that. Because trust me, I heard that as a freaking kid growing up. But yeah, like her, really, I truly think that I really do owe her a lot to like push me through middle school, and then off to high school. She would message me every now and then and check in, and I don't know. That is the first person that just came to my mind.
I feel like we always have those. I feel like for me, an inspiration as far as school goes, and I'd probably have to say it was my 3rd or 5th grade teacher. They were both nuns, and they were just all about me. Like, all about my growth and all about my development and wanted to see me grow. And I was such a big personality now. I'm such a big personality back then. And they knew it and they saw something in me that everyone did. So I totally get it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So we're going to take a break. And when we come back, we have this new segment called I Call Shade. And your Jawn of the Week. Stay tuned. So we are back with All This JAWN podcast. I'm sitting here with my best friend Lewis, and we've been talking about 30-somethings. So at this point of the podcast, I started something new last week called I Call Shade. So this week, I Call Shade goes out to all of those South Philly Annies, Paulies, Tonys, guarding the statue of Christopher Columbus at Marconi Plaza. I literally don't freaking believe it. Don't you have anything else to do while you're inside? Why don't you build yourself a box, jump in it, and take it out with the trash? Do you do best? Be nosy in your Packer Park neighborhood and worry about the Donnas, the Marias, and the Teresas on your block. Because you want to know why? Your racism shows, and I'm over it. So stop being a fucking stunan, okay? I just can't. Oof. With everything that's going on in this world right now. Like, you're literally guarding a statue that you probably drove by 20 million times and don't give a fuck about.
Girl, it's our heritage, girl. You don't want to destroy it. But the funniest thing is, there's a box around that statue.
Yeah.
Right now.
Well, they need to build a box around themselves and jump into it and throw themselves.
Well, you know, Stonewall Kickball would play at that field there. And how many times did people drive by cackling at us, saying queer, fags, this and that?
The funniest thing is, I thought about that the other day. I don't even feel like playing down there anymore.
Oh, no.
It's disgusting.
Oh, no.
But yeah, I totally get it.
Absolutely took my business.
Okay. Anyway, so it's time where we throw out the JAWN of the week. The JAWN of the week, with everything that's going on in this world, businesses are suffering. So the JAWN of the week this week goes out to the Black-owned businesses of Philly. After our podcast, please see a list of Black-owned businesses you can support in your neighborhood in Philly that I'm going to post on my personal Instagram page and Twitter. With everything going on in our country, with COVID-19 and Black Lives Matter movement, businesses are suffering, like I said. So let's give back as Philadelphians to our Black-owned businesses, to local shops, to restaurants, and so much more. And get out there and support Philly. We need you more than ever. So, in closing, I want to thank you, Lewis, for, one, being my best friend, and two, sitting down with me tonight and talking about 20-somethings and 30-somethings and how we met. And do you have any last words?
No, absolutely. Just thank you for having me here. And I'm loving this show. Make sure y'all like and subscribe. And I can't wait to see what's more to come. And, we're about to get lit in the Poconos.
Well, everyone, if you have a chance, like I said, follow Jersey Boy 69 on Instagram. Give him a shout out for his birthday. Happy birthday, Lewis. I'm so excited to share it with you this weekend. It's been real. So, on next week's episode of All This JAWN, we're going to do something a little different. I'm actually not going to have a guest next week. We are going to sit down with the one and only, yours truly, your host of All This JAWN, and get into the life and mind of myself, Mikey. In closing, if you like what you heard today and you want to subscribe to All This JAWN, get yourself a Spotify, girl, and follow us at All This JAWN podcast on Spotify. You can also follow us on Twitter at All This JAWN, or you can follow me on my personal Instagram at get_your_life, and life is spelled L-Y-F-E. So that's GET_YOUR_LYFE. And if you want to slide in my DMs and want your questions answered on All This JAWN, email us at allthisjawn@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and until next time, have a super good night, Philly.